How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting, and welcome to Forgotten Trace of Thanatos and Nostalgia. So, last episode got real serious. Yeah, definitely some heavy topics we're talking about today. And I think we're going to continue because we're going to see things from Kazuya and Ibuki's perspective now. And then moving on to the next section, whatever that's going to entail, which should be fun. But hey, we're getting a lot of information. We know Miyu's one of the, star sign people with Kazuya. There's some kind of battle going on with that and some kind of, potential end to it, which is kind of what Madoko's here to do. She's trying to give them a heads up and an opportunity to potentially find the actual solution to this kind of, sounds like a never-ending carousel of trying to, constantly try to avoid the fates that are kind of, forced on them because of what happened in the past. We'll have to see what all happens, but I'm excited to get to it. I'm excited to figure out what's going to happen and to get to more of it. Again, I don't know. Last week's episode was not monetized at all because of the heavy subject matter, and since we're probably talking about it again, this one also probably won't. Nothing really big deal. It's just keep in mind, if you found this video, it's likely because it wasn't recommended to you, but because you were looking for it. So thank you so much for sticking with the series. Probably talk about some heavier topics today. I'll do my very best to, be straightforward and clear, but it can be tough when talking about stuff like prematurely ending yourself. So we're gonna have to see what this is all about, and I hate it because Madoko is my favorite character so far, and it sucks, but we'll have to just press on and see how it goes. So now we're gonna kind of have that same conversation again from two different perspectives, and we're gonna start with the Kazuya perspective, so let's jump into it. So it'll be okay. Alright. She gives a forced, fragile smile. That was her saying, and slowly walks closer to the fence. She goes step by step like she's mulling something over. Then when she reaches the fence, she stops there. This is farewell, Ibuki and Kazuya. As she says this, she puts a smile again. I'm apprehensive for some reason. What the heck? Farewell? She said earlier that there's no time. Is it related to that? Madoka, what do you mean, farewell? Ibuki must be apprehensive, the same as me. She asks her with a puzzled expression. Farewell. She means to say that our conversation is done for the day. That she told me everything? No, there are all kinds of things I still don't understand. I've been told a lot of unbelievable things these past few moments. Yeah, it's been kind of a dump on you, for sure. It's how do you even start to make sense of it all? There's this sudden heavy pressure weighing on my body, like I'm being crushed by fate. The fate that is my ability as the Dipper Mansion. North Zarya. I've been caught up in this unreal battle. What the heck am I supposed to do? She's the only one I can rely on now. I need her next to me in a position to give me advice from now on. And there's a mountain of things I still need to ask her. But she really is unwell. She's staggering unsteadily. She seems to be barely managing to stand. On top of that, her face is getting paler and paler. She's not okay. She seems to be at her limit for the day. She should hurry up and go home. Just as I'm about to say my farewells, see you soon, and all that, she says something strange again. The time has already come. My time limit ends here. Her time limit? I get hung up on these words again. She kept on going on and on about the time limit for a while. What the heck does she mean? What do you mean by my time limit? Do you not have time? If so, don't worry about me and go back. You don't look well. We can stop here and do this some other time. Yeah. There are a lot more things I want to talk about. But it seems that this is it. It's unfortunate. I wish I'd met you guys a long, long time ago. I wanted to meet you. Talk about various things, laugh at trivial things, fight sometimes. Then laugh again. Like that, we'd understand and get to know each other. Those kinds of normal things. Happiness. I wanted to do them with you guys. She whispers this in a wavering voice that sounds like she's on the verge of tears. That's so sad. What's wrong with her right now? She's talking like she'll never see me or Ibuki again. Even if she lives somewhere far away, we can see each other whenever. What are you saying? Didn't you finally grasp happiness? Aren't you going to walk on those two legs from now on? Also, we can be good as good of friends as you want, right? I reply as encouragement. That's right, Madoka. Haven't we always been friends? That won't change. Let's talk lots and lots again. I want to hear your stories too, Madoka. I'm not going anywhere. You won't go anywhere either, right? You'll always be by my side, right? Sorry, my throat's a little dry. Ibuki's probably worried about her faintly wavering voice too. Ibuki doesn't hesitate to respond like that. But the words that come out of the girl's mouth are unexpectedly blunt. Sorry, I can't anymore. Madoka? I promised Miss Dahl. This is the price I must pay for her making me like this. Oath. Trade. This is connected to mine and Miss Dahl's happiness, as well as Ibuki's and Kazuya's happiness. Didn't I tell you? Everything was inevitable, not a coincidence. This was supposed to happen. It can't be helped. That doll. The doll she's talking about is that woman I met in the forest. What the heck did she talk to that woman about? The 7 mansions of the Black Tortoise? The North Zarya? The characteristics of the 7 North Zarya and my Dipper mansion? And a trade. She made an oath with that woman. I'm profusely caught up on that part. I think back on her words and she suddenly takes a deep breath. She looks up at the sky like she's brooding. Then to my astonishment, she suddenly takes a big jump over the fence behind her. It's like she used up all her strength she possessed. Her profile when she jumped over was one of determination. My thoughts stopped for a moment. On a ledge on the other side, barely big enough to tiptoe on, she stands unsteadily, with her back turned toward us. If she loses her balance even a little, she'll go head first down. Even a child could understand this situation. Seeing this, Ibuki lets out a voice close to a scream. Madoka-chan! Without hesitation, I yell to stop her too and run over. Good man! Good response. Oi! Nani yatte-n-da-yo? Konai de! Her scream like a yell echoes across the rooftop. Wakaru yo ne? Kazuya-kun. 君ならあの森の女性と出会って自分の使命に目覚めそして前へと進んでいく私もそうだよ自分の気持ちがぶれないように前へと進みたいのこの今の気持ちがこれからやってくる黒い気持ちに食い尽くされないように What is she thinking? The dang girl. Did she intend to jump from the onset? Is that why she called us to the roof? Because she wants us to stop her? That impulse. I don't understand it. Perplexed, I immediately ask her. That's the worst thing about it, honestly, is like, I know the feelings that people go through. Like obviously Madoka is not quite the same way a lot of people who face these types of challenges are. There's a lot more going on here than just the darkness of sometimes facing the realities of life and how twisted those thoughts can become and lead people to make such terrible decisions. But still, like, I think the biggest problem that we have, a lot of us have, is that, like, a lot of us don't really ever know what it's like to have the thoughts of, like, of darkness and of potentially ending things. And so whilst we care, we want to help. Like, I desperately want to be able to help people who have those tens of thoughts and feelings. I desperately want to be able to know that, like, if the time comes and a friend of mine or a family member is facing that darkness, that I'd be able to recognize it and extend a hand to help. But frankly, it's like, it's a frame of mind I just don't comprehend. It's something I've never understood, and I don't know if I ever will. I hope I don't, but unfortunately that means that I'm inadequate to be able to actually be able to help people. That's what's really great about things that are like social groups and rehab groups, and like being able to kind of come together where people who have had similar experiences can support each other. Like those who have been able to defeat the darkness can actually aid those directly by being properly sympathetic, by being truly understanding, and being able to actually like offer up encouragement in ways that's meaningful, like something that I just don't think I could do. So like, Kazuya and I are in the same boat, so it's like, if I were in his shoes, I genuinely don't know what I would do. Like, sometimes it feels like it'd be so easy to just be like, oh, yeah, just run over and grab her, you know, yank her back over or something. But like, I don't know. Like, it's got to be terrifying being in these shoes, being in this position. And I don't envy anybody who ends up in that spot. But I also think it's important to do the very best we can to make the most of it and to like be able to make that difference in people's lives. Maybe it's something we should all mentally try and prepare ourselves for, even though that's not reasonable. Like, it's still something we should be ready for, because we never know when we're going to find ourselves in a situation to help with this. Heck, we might even find ourselves in the exact shoes of somebody who's making a choice like this. And we can't allow ourselves to diminish or explain away or wish away that these things really happen all the time. Unfortunately, too often. And it can sometimes happen unexpectedly. So it's always something to be it's worthwhile to think about. It doesn't seem like I have time to dilly-dally.
ちょっと待て。俺の使命って言うけど、じゃあお前の使命ってなんだ？ここまでいろんなこと、俺にベラベラ喋って押し付けるように伝えといて、そして自分ははいさようならってか。それがお前の使命なのかよ。それが前へ進む気持ちなのかよ。勝手だろ。そんなこと。
Dang.
なんでお前がそんな状況になってるんだよ。ここまで俺にこの戦いを押し付けたのなら最後まで見届けろよ。この俺の結末がどうなるのかをよ。
見届けなくたって平気だよ。君はきっと伊吹ちゃんを守って、そしてこの戦いを勝ち抜くことができるものだから、見なくたって平気だよ。君は絶対この戦いを勝ち抜いて、そしてノーザリアの中心から分かってる。
It's no good. My words aren't reaching her at all. Ibuki appeals to her without hesitation.
まどかちゃん、私にはまどかちゃんが必要なの。だから考え直して。今は無理でもきっと答えは変わるはずだから。その先には違う答えが待っているはずだから。誰だって不安なんだよ。孤独なんだよ。一人じゃ弱くて寂しくて。
See, Ibuki might be able to actually help the most, but she's unfortunately, she's also in a very unfit state of mind right now. It's obviously like she feels like she's lying. We're gonna be able to see her insight. I have a feeling though that she is excuse me, battling with herself very heavily right now.
だからこそ一緒に手を取り合って頑張っていこうよ。ね、まどかちゃん。ねえ、いぶきちゃん。自分の弱さを認めることってすごく苦しいことだよね。だからね、目をつむって両手で耳を塞いで息を止めて。いぶきちゃん、私ね、そうやって逃げちゃうんだ。いぶきちゃんもそんな時ってあるかな。
What the heck is she saying? Isn't that different from before? Aren't you a person with a stronger spirit? Isn't that why you were so open with Ibuki about everything? Your painful past and everything. Where did your earlier strength go? Don't let me down.
何を言ってるの？ねえ、まどかちゃん。私はわからない。
She was hoping that Ibuki would be honest there.
だってまどかちゃんはそんなに弱い人間じゃないはずだよ。自分をしっかり持ってて、いつの間にか周りの人もまどかちゃんの笑顔で太陽のように輝いていく。それがまどかちゃんなんだよ。
I don't know how Ibuki's gonna handle this.
だから私はそんなまどかちゃん見たくないよ。太陽か。ねえ、いぶきちゃん、強がって見せてる私だって本当は弱いんだよ。だからこんなことしてるの。みんな強さの裏側には弱さを隠し持ってるんだよ。
That's true.
だからね、時々目を伏せちゃう。でもね、たくさんの人の温かさに触れた時、見知らぬ誰かに励みになる言葉をささやかれた時、いぶきちゃんの 太陽にも負けない輝く笑顔を見たとき、こんなにも世界も人も輝いてて美しいんだから、怖くっても勇気を出して目を開けてなきゃっていつも思うの。そうして温かさを心に焼き付けるの。ねえ、どんなことがあっても自分に負けちゃダメ。
So it's easy for you to say, I feel like.
私はそう思うんだ。自分の弱さとうまく付き合えば、どんな時でもきっとうまくいくって。
The things she's been saying are all over the place. You mustn't lose yourself? Doesn't she understand that pretty well herself?
ねえ、だったらどうしてまどかちゃんはそんなところにいるの？まどかちゃん、戻ってきてよ。変なこと考えるのはやめてよ。私の言葉、いぶきちゃんにちゃんと響いたかな。怖くても勇気を出して。ずっと目を開けてるんだよ。
It's so weird.
まどかちゃん、今なんて。ねえ、いぶきちゃん、いつか言ったことあったよね。初めて出会ったあの白い箱の庭で、いぶきちゃんは誰の前でも心の中では泣きながら、笑ってるふりをするのって。あの時言った私の言葉は、あの言葉はいぶきちゃんに伝わったかな。
I'm terrible at that. One of my saving graces, I think, is the fact that I don't hide emotions very well. I think I hide maybe the longer term ones. Like, sometimes I struggle with just basic, like, feeling up, feeling like... I feel like I have value to myself, but I feel like I struggle sometimes feeling like I don't add value to the world. Like, that I'm not leaving behind anything that's really meaningful. Like, I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy what I spend my time on, but, like, I worry that when I go, that what I leave behind will be less than meaningless, you know? I want to be able to leave feeling like I did good, that I improved people's lives and improved my own and made a difference somehow, somewhere. And I'm sure I have, but like it's hard for me to really see that at times. And it's hard for me to feel like I'm not spinning my wheels and not doing things that I want to do. Like I try to, and I'm really pushing myself a lot more. Like I'm so much better than I used to be, but I still feel like I feel like if I'm not on top of things, I'm gonna live with regrets, and I don't want that. And then I sit here and think about that too, how whilst I'm kind of blessed and cursed to not be able to hide major emotions, I think I do hide like how frustrated and lonely I feel sometimes. How even with my closest friends and family, I don't feel like there's anyone who truly understands me and what I think and feel. And I personally think that's okay, but it is lonely at times, even if I'm surrounded by people who love me. Like, loneliness is something that can happen to anybody. I get those feelings, but man, this is just, it's so confusing. It's frustrating. Like, I think I was genuinely angry last week. I've kind of like stewed everything over about this story like in the week since and kind of like processed it, but at the same time, like, I'm so frustrated because like Madoka is really strong, and like I kind of get that this is not something as simple as like her just giving up on life, that there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but how are these two supposed to see that?
本当に伝わったかな。だったらなんで私に本当のことを伝えてくれなかったの？
That's when Ibuki's face twitches. Is Ibuki hiding something from her?
Ibuki?
Not thinking, I speak.
本当のことって。
Freaking calling her out here.
まどかちゃん、一体何のことなのか。
She must be trying to act composed, but her voice is extremely shaky.
辛いこと、楽しいこと、そして幸せなこと、なんだって二人で話してきたじゃない。まだこうして出会ってから半年足らずの短い間だけど、それでも私は前からの友達のように 何でも話してくれるいぶきちゃんが好きだった。嬉しかったの。話すたびにどんどんお互いの距離が近くなっていく気がして、いぶきちゃんがこんな私なんかにどんどん心を開いてくれるのが、毎日毎日いぶきちゃんが病院に来るのを楽しみにしてたんだよ。だからこそ何でも話してほしかった。何のことかわからないよ。私はまどかちゃんに隠し事なんてしてない。私は今まで通りの私だし、これまで通りにまどかちゃんが大好きだよ。そんな大好きな親友に。いぶきちゃん、私はそんなとこも含めていぶきちゃんが大好きだよ。だからこそ、大好きないぶきちゃんだからこそ、私は全てを話したの。心の中にもやもやしてるものを溜め込んだままは嫌だから。
That's definitely true for me too. I hate bottling things up. There's like the slow burn feelings and stuff I don't really talk about just because I feel like there's no real solution to, and like kind of going through. But like, I also I don't like bottling things up. Like when the pressure builds, I find ways to kind of release the pressure, the valve. I talk about it like stress is is a pressure, and like that's why it's important to have hobbies and outlets and things to do to like let yourself vent. That's what YouTube is, one of those vents for me. Video games can be one of those vents for me. Card games. I recently started getting back into Magic the Gathering, something I played when I was in high school, but my friends and I have been able to start connecting online through it, and it's been really fun to bring that back. I've been painting recently. Like all these things I'm expressing and like exploring in myself to kind of push my boundaries and see what I can do and what I like doing. Because there's a lot of joy to be found in that.
もちろん私だってそんなの嫌。まどかちゃんは親友だから、大事な友達だから、私はまどかちゃんがだから。
Ibuki's at a loss for words, and she looks like she's been tormenting herself over something. It's obvious. The girl knows Ibuki's secret, and Ibuki's hiding something. It's about their relationship, so I don't really understand. But why is she interrogating Ibuki to this extent? Going so far as to create this situation? I can't make the connection.
そう。私たちは親友だよね。いぶきちゃんは、きっと周りの人たちを傷つけたくないっていつも思ってるから。だから言えなかったのかもしれないけれど。ねえいぶきちゃん、親友にずっと嘘をつかれてたって気づいてしまった時、身が引き裂かれそうなぐらい辛くって苦しいよ。
That's a blow.
私たちの絆、友達同士の絆がどれほど脆いか突きつけられてる気がして。私ね、お父さんに裏切られても友達に裏切られてもいぶきちゃんとの絆だけは信じてた。
I think it's a bit unfair to put that all at Ibuki's feet though. But I also, it's not really a time for rational thought, you know?
本当に大切なものは目に見えないって誰かが言っていたように、二人をつなぐものに凛とした美しい切れるはずのない絆を心の目で見てたんだよ。感じてたんだよ。だからね、私いつでもいぶきちゃんの力になりたかったのに、いぶきちゃんはどうして信じてくれなかったの？私たちの。
As soon as she hears these words, Ibuki trembles. She's crying again. It's clear from their exchange that their relationship of mutual trust is falling apart. Ibuki probably doesn't have the strength to stop her anymore. At this moment, the girl staggers for a second. She could fall at any moment. I can't watch anymore. Ibuki seems to be dazed and unable to speak. I have to prevent the worst-case scenario. I'll stop her, no matter what it takes.
なあ、お前といぶきのことは俺にはよくわからないが、お前の今の行動にそれが繋がるのか、よく考えてくれ。大体お前のそれは逃げだろ。全てを諦めて自分を追い込んで、でも俺には逃げるなってそう言っただろ。お前の信念はそんなものだったってのか。俺に夢に向かった気持ちを取り戻せみたいなこと言っといて、自分を強く見せたふりしやがって。何なんだよお前。そんな思わせぶりな期待させないでくれ。
違うよ和也くん、これは逃げじゃなくて もう一つの希望、そして夢に向かう気持ちは希望の光。それは私も一緒だよ。
It's no good. None of my words are getting through. I looked to Ibuki for help, but that's not good either. She can't even speak anymore. The tears running down her cheeks indicate as much. Ibuki knows. This girl's strength, this strong-willed girl, ironically, that may be what's driving her actions right now. Ibuki's just in a daze, staring at this girl's last moments. What should I do? What should I say? My words float through the air and disappear before they reach this girl's heart. Was it impossible to convince her from the start? For me, I mean, that's probably true. I've been losing to her conviction from the start, so what the heck can I do? What can I say? But at this rate... Suddenly, she spreads her arms out, like a bird spreading its wings about to fly into the great big sky. It's been clear to anyone watching. Her gestures say it all. There's nothing left on her time limit. What do I do? My helplessness is frustrating. Can I not even do this? Not just failing at soccer. Can I not even save a single girl like this? I'm pathetic. I'm utterly pathetic. I put my all into spitting out what I'm feeling right now.
やめろ、やめてくれ。お前はこれまで伊吹を支えてくれてたじゃねえか。だからこれからも支えてやってくれ。伊吹のためにも。本当にお前が伊吹を大事な親友と思っているのなら。
違うの、和也くん。いつまでも私なんかに頼ってちゃダメ。聞いて、和也くん。この私の行動、そして決断はきっとこの戦いを勝ち抜くために必要不可欠なものになるの。
See, that's the part I really don't understand.
今はわからないだろうけど、これから始まっていく戦いの布石になる。
I just don't see how that's possible. But again, I mean, she's literally saying, like, you don't understand. Like, it's true, I don't.
私にはわかる。夢を目指す苦しみ、挫折、自分の実力を突きつけられる現実。君は夢を叶える一歩手前まで行ったんだよ。そこまで上り詰めるのはとても大変なこと。実力が実らない日もあったかもしれない。ライバルたちを蹴落とし、追い抜き、疎ましがられ、たくさんの仲間たちが夢を目指すことは何かを犠牲にすることでもあると思うから。
That's true.
でもどんなに叩きのめされても諦めず這い上がり、自分だけを信じて突き進んでいった。その情熱があったからこそ、自分を信じて情熱を貫いたからこそ、君は夢を叶える一歩手前まで行けたんだよ。それはとてもすごいことで、誰にだってできることじゃない。君にまだこの気持ちが、そして強い思いが残っているのならば、これから起こる数々の死闘、自分よりもずっとさらに強いノーザリアが襲ってきたとしても、決してくじけることなく戦っていける。君の武器はどんな能力にも勝る、その素晴らしい心の強さなんだから。ねえ、伊吹ちゃんを守って、その手で守り抜いて。
Her words ring loud within me. They weigh heavily on my heart. I thought I wasn't reaching her. I thought I couldn't compete with her at strength. But she knows such things about me. She's questioning it. Right here, right now, she's questioning my strength. Whether or not I can win the life or death battles to come by myself without her. I'm still perplexed when she asks something of me, like she's gently whispering. Like she's squeezing the life force out of herself.
見せてほしい。取り戻してほしいの。和也くん、君の心の内にある本物の伊吹ちゃんを守れる心の強さを。
She's waiting for my answer. She's pushing me on to muster the strength I possess. Yeah, that's right. There are words I need to convey to her. Who I was at the time. My strong feelings from that time. These feelings are the words that should reach her heart right now. The words that will move her heart. I need to face her feelings head on. No lies, no deception, just my true feelings. If those feelings can pierce even a millimeter into her heart, It's a choice. I wonder what this is. I can't remember what happened in the other one. I wonder what it matters. I don't know. I think it's the answer for both of them, though. Overcome myself, yeah. Protect Ibuki, sure. I won't look to the past anymore. That's the words I think need to be heard from both Madoka and him. The fact that, like, it's the words that matter the most because he's been crippled by his past. He's, like, let his journey dissuade him from trying anymore, but he won't look to the past anymore. Until now, I was losing to myself. Yes, to my weakness. Her actions and words, for example, were all surprising to me. I was acting like I was the only one burdened with misfortune, and didn't even notice the people around me being considerate. No, I was always sulking like that was a matter of course. There was no helping that injury. I didn't do anything wrong. It was just bad luck. And I despaired at myself and made no move away from that. But she was in the same situation as me and didn't run away. She never lost heart. She aimed to be an actress, never lost hope, and did her best. No matter how difficult it was, she just believed that her legs would get better. That kind of girl is the one who told it to me, that I have to have strong, unwavering feelings. That's right. I had them too. Those burning feelings, the feelings from when I aimed at the pros and played soccer from dusk till dawn every day. No matter how difficult it was or how much it hurt, I had a dream. I had hope. So I could do my best. It's nostalgic, and I'm happy. I was dead until now. This heart and this leg, she brought them back to life. That's why if I can be half of what she is, no, it's fine if I'm even just a fragment. The feelings I had at that time, who I was at that time, let me bring them back. Ibuki, who was dazed, looked at me like she was returning to her senses. I averted my gaze and turned back to her and continued. Listen to my emotions on full display.
俺バカだった。間違ってた。自分一人が世界中の不幸を背負ったような顔をして、伊吹に、レイに、ミユに、そして周りの連中にもたくさん迷惑かけて、たくさん傷つけてた。だから一人でもこの俺のことを応援してくれている人間がいるのなら、この俺にまだあの時のような気持ちが残っているのならできないかもしれない。またくじけてしまうかもしれないけど、だけどこれからどんなことがあったとしても、もう俺は後ろを振り返らずに前を向いていたい。
Without turning back. I put everything I have into my words. My true feelings with everything laid bare, completely unaffected. My pulse is higher than ever before. I wonder if it reaches Ibuki. What is she thinking right now? What expression is on her face? I'm scared to turn around. I don't want to think about it. In order to hide those feelings from Ibuki, I don't hesitate to look at and yell at the girl.
だからお前も自分に負けずに自分と向き合って頑張るんだよ。
She's turned away from me. She's frozen, unmoving, but she's definitely smiling. I get that feeling. I slowly get closer to her. The distance steadily closes. I'll be able to touch her shoulder with my hand in one more step. I take a deep breath and reach out my right hand, and I'm taken by surprise. That's the sad thing! The action she takes prevents any move I had, because it's an action no one would have imagined.
私、これでやっと安心して飛べる。ねえ、伊吹ちゃん。和也くん、私、この狭い鳥かごの中から、この広い大空へと飛び立てるの。お母さん、やっぱり私、お母さんも、やっぱりお父さんが好きだから、ずっと一緒にいたんだよね。いたかったんだよね。たとえ、どんなに辛いことがあっても、私も同じだよ。ごめんね。お人形さん、こんなことして。ねえ、でも、いいでしょ？ちゃんと約束は成し遂げたんだから。使命は、果たしたんだから。和也くんはちゃんとやっていける。その強い気持ちは、ちゃんと私に伝わったから。星の宿命にだって、 きっと立ち向かえる。ねえ、そうでしょ？お人形さん。だって、あの人は、あなたの人生のすべてを救ってくれた。
She whispers this. Then, something you would never hear in a place like this. It was like it was sleeping in the corners of my memory. She hums that song. I heard it on the bank of that lake in the sea of trees wrapped in white. The lullaby of that beautiful woman. It's magical, and it's like my chest feels tight. The 7 mansions of the Black Tortoise, the North Zaria. Why? These words float into my head again. Why It feels like they slipped in between the cracks. My body won't move as if I'm paralyzed, but for some reason it's the pleasant feeling. In this tense atmosphere, it feels like only my heart is being shaken. That's why for those few seconds, she completely leaves my mind. Dang it, Kazuya. You are so close.
真っ青な空に浮かぶ彼女の黒い影。とっさに彼女の服を掴もうという考えが働いた時には、すでに彼女は子守歌と共に大空と一つになっていた。それはまるでスローモーションを見ているようだった。俺の目に映ったのは決して想像しがたい光景、決してあってはならない現実。息吹は忽然とその場にうなだれて、ただ泣き崩れるのみだった。一コマ一コマ刻まれるように、フィルムを一枚一枚なぞっていくかのように、ゆっくりゆっくりと彼女は落ちていった。それはまるで巣立つ小鳥のように、その小さな翼を精一杯広げて飛び立っていった。その狭くて白い鳥かごの中から、その自分の未来に希望を膨らませながら、やっと誰にも縛られることのない自由な大空へと羽ばたかせていったのだから。彼女はきっと笑っていただろう。果たしてそれが本当に彼女の進むべき道だったのかは。でもこれだけは言える。彼女はその両手の翼で精一杯の幸せをつかんだのだ。たとえそれが永遠に続くともわからない刹那の光だったとしても、いつまでも変わらずに太陽のように光り輝いていてほしい。そう願うだけだった。そして静かに子守歌はいつの間にか俺の耳から消えていた。
See, that's what I don't like. I don't like how he's talking about like how beautiful that was. That's not beautiful at all. Like, that's a dangerous precedent to set. You don't want to... You should never embellish a choice like that. You should never make it seem like it's a beautiful thing, because it's not. I get what they are trying to say. It's kind of like trying to look for a silver lining in a terrible situation. And I do get that. That can help individuals maybe find peace after such a traumatic experience, but we have to be careful because, like, I think we're going to be able to explore it, but, like, there's so much pain that's brought about by such choices that even in those situations where it seems to be bringing peace and satisfaction for the individual, like, that's still not okay. There's so much more that can be done than just that choice. But I also think I have an understanding not just of the story element, but the reality element of there, like, being a need for closure and a need for seeing a kind of peace. It's the same thing that happens in things like Boromir's death in Lord of the Rings. That's really what's popping to mind right now. Like, he fell, he nearly tried to steal the ring from Frodo. He really kind of fell apart at that point. But then he fought his hardest to save Merry and Pippin. And he then fell to several arrows and, like, literally died. It's a horrible thing that happened. It really shouldn't have happened. He should have been able to stand and rise. He also shouldn't have felt like he was unforgiven because of his mistake. It was desperately, desperately sad. But there is yet a beauty to it because of what he did before he died. And, like, how he faced his death with bravery and a determination to do good. And maybe that's kind of what we're seeing here. I think it's not quite the same, and it's still really dangerous because anybody who's like contemplating dark thoughts might take this to be like, oh, well, you know, in the right circumstances and the right people, you know, it's okay. And it's not. It really isn't. There's so much better out there, and there's so much more good that can be done than something like that. But for the sake of a story, like, the survivors sometimes have to grasp at whatever they can. And so Kazuya and Ibuki are probably grasping at the idea that, like, whilst it was a terrible choice that she made, an unfair one, he even says, like, I don't know if what she did was, like, really right. Like, in the end, like, I don't know if that sacrifice was really what she seemed to think it was. But, like, they have to, for their own sanity, maybe, like, have to recognize, like, the contentment she had at the end and the freedom she experienced at the end. And while there is a beauty to that, I still think it's can be irresponsible if not taken with the understanding that it would have been far more beautiful if she had been able to stay around. It would have been far more beautiful and meaningful if she had been able to, like, fight her way through the darkness and be able to, like, be friends with Ibuki and Kazuya. So it's just something to really keep in mind. And now, let's figure out what's going on in Ibuki's brain, huh? It's frustrating having to watch this scene that makes me so upset 3 times, but that's the way this game goes, and I think it's an interesting take on a story. I'm curious to see how it plays this out for the future, but anyway. So it'll be okay, alright? Madoka whispers gently in front of Kazuya. Then she takes a step, then another. She slowly walks toward the fence. She presses her back against the fence, turns back toward me and Kazuya and speaks. This is farewell, Ibuki. And Kazuya? Huh? Madoka? I'm surprised by her words. Why? I have this strange apprehension. This unusual Madoka is going even further away from me. That's how it feels. Madoka, what do you mean, farewell? I suddenly ask this. Madoka's head totters from side to side as her face turns even paler. She really doesn't seem well. The time has already come. My time limit ends here. The time limit? She uses another unsatisfying way of speaking. I don't understand her meaning at all. What do you mean by my time limit? Do you not have time? If so, don't worry about me and go back. You don't look well. We can stop here and do this some other time. Kazuya asks Madoka this with a puzzled expression. Yeah, there are a lot more things I want to talk about, but it seems like this is it. It's unfortunate. I wish I'd met you guys a long, long time ago. I wanted to meet you, talk about various things, laugh at trivial things, fight sometimes, then laugh again, like that. We'd understand and get to know each other. Those kinds of normal things. Happiness. I wanted to do them with you guys. It's like she won't see us again. That's the way she's talking. And her tone is like she's come to some decision. What in the world is Madoka trying to tell us? Kazuya's shaken by Madoka's strange words and actions too. What are you saying? Didn't you finally grasp happiness? Aren't you going to walk on those 2 legs from now on? Also, we can be good friends as you want. Right? Yeah. That's right, Madoka. Won't we be friends forever and ever? I think Kazuya can become your good friend too. Hey, Madoka, isn't that right? With those feelings, I opened my mouth to speak. That's right, Madoka. Haven't we always been friends? That won't change. Let's talk lots and lots again. I want to hear your stories too, Madoka. I'm not going anywhere. You won't go anywhere either, right? You'll always be by my side, right? I throw out the best words I can think of, but my feelings don't reach Madoka. Sorry, I can't anymore. Madoka looks down with sad eyes. Madoka, what are you saying? Madoka? My pulse quickens. The sound of my heart is so loud I can't focus on Madoka's words. I promised Miss Doll. This is the price I must pay for her making me like this. Oath. Trade. This is the connection to my happiness with Miss Doll's happiness, as well as Ibuki's and Kazuya's happiness. Didn't I tell you? Everything was inevitable, not a coincidence. This was supposed to happen. It can't be helped. What? What are you trying to tell us, Madoka? Miss Doll? Trade? What are you saying? I don't understand at all. More importantly, I'm worried about her attitude. She's acting like she won't see me anymore. Did she start hating me at some point? No, that can't be it. It can't be. Earlier, Madoka told me I was her precious best friend. She said that. And I accepted it. That's right. Madoka is just teasing me, right? She wants to surprise me. Yeah, like how she surprised me by showing me her legs had suddenly healed. She's preparing for the next thing to surprise me with, right? Isn't that right? That's it, isn't it, Madoka? The moment I think this, Madoka does something unbelievable. Madoka takes another really deep breath and quickly looks up at the sky, boosts herself up, and jumps over the fence. She stands unsteadily on the asphalt area on the other side of the fence she's cleared, and turns her back to us like she's staring straight at the blue sky. Camera angles, man. I see Madoka like this, and it feels like my heart's going to explode. I avert my gaze for a moment, but I intently look directly at Madoka, not taking my eyes off her. I forget myself and yell.
Madoka-chan!
Kazuya runs over to Madoka as fast as he can, too.
Oi! 何やってんだよ!
来ないで!
Madoka's sharp voice voice that sounds like it's about to break echoes across the rooftop.
わかるよね。和也くん。あの森の女性と出会って、自分の使命に目覚め、そして前へと進んでいく。私もそうだよ。自分の気持ちがぶれないように、前へと進みたいの。この今の気持ちが、これからやってくる黒い気持ちに食い尽くされないように。
Madoka? What are you saying? I'm the same. Isn't everyone doing their best as to yield to their feelings?
ちょっと待て。俺の使命って言うけど、じゃあお前の使命ってなんだ？ここまでいろんなこと、俺にベラベラ喋って押し付けるように伝えといて、そして自分ははいさようならってか？それがお前の使命なのかよ？それが前へ進む気持ちなのかよ？勝手だろ！そんなこと！なんでお前がそんな状況になってるんだよ！ここまで俺にこの戦いを押し付けたのなら最後まで見届けろよ！この俺の結末がどうなるのかをよ！
Kazuya questions Madoka like he's angry.
見届けなくたって平気だよ。君はきっと伊吹ちゃんを守って、そしてこの戦いを勝ち抜くことができるものだから、見なくたって平気だよ。君は絶対この戦いを勝ち抜いて、そしてノーザリアの中心から分かってる。
In order to save me. For that, Kazuya will... But Madoka, why something like this? I don't get it at all. I don't understand. Hey, you're not supposed to be this weak, Madoka.
まどかちゃん、私にはまどかちゃんが必要なの。だから考え直して。今は無理でも、きっと答えは変わるはずだから、その先には違う答えが待っているはずだから。誰だって不安なんだよ。孤独なんだよ。一人じゃ弱くて寂しくて。だからこそ一緒に手を取り合って頑張っていこうよ。ね、まどかちゃん。
Madoka, don't. You're mistaken. Rethink this.
ねえ、いぶきちゃん。自分の弱さを認めることってすごく苦しいことだよね。だからね、目をつむって両手で耳を塞いで。いぶきちゃん、私ね、そうやって逃げちゃうんだ。いぶきちゃんもそんな時ってあるかな。
I panic and Emma lost for words. Acknowledged one's own weakness. Why is Madoka saying such a thing? Everything appears to overlap. When I reject and hated the world, that's right. Me too. I almost went down that path once. But now, I realize that that's wrong. No, I wasn't. I was made to realize it by that goddess. That nothing will come to doing such a thing. That's just running away. And I received a smile from you, Madoka. I realize that as long as you're alive, new encounters and happiness are waiting. So I want you to realize, I want to make you realize that the one who cheered me up was you. I understand your feeling so well it hurts, but I pretend not to realize that and open my mouth to speak.
何を言ってるの?
Oh man, Ibuki.
ねえ、まどかちゃん。私はわからない。だって、まどかちゃんはそんなに弱い人間じゃないはずだよ。自分をしっかり持ってて、いつの間にか周りの人もまどかちゃんの笑顔で太陽のように輝いていく。それがまどかちゃんなんだよ。だから私はそんなまどかちゃん見たくないよ。
My chest hurts. I don't want to lie, but I can't let her notice that I'm that kind of person. Madoka would be disappointed in me. That's what's really sad too. Is like if you have such struggles, I guarantee you the people who love and care for you will not be disappointed. I mean, they might be sad and terrified because it's hard to hear that so much suffering, and it's hard to feel, and it can be scary feeling like your darkness is so great that it might lead you down a path that would take you away from them forever. Like, that's terrifying to hear, and we might not know how to respond. That's the biggest thing. Is like most people, if you're gonna tell people about how you're feeling, unfortunately most of us don't know how to respond to it. But frankly, like, you're not gonna disappoint us. If you're having dangerous thoughts, if you're having dark thoughts, if you're having thoughts that, like, for some reason you just can't find a way out of, like, you're not going to be disappointing anybody. You're not going to be shamed or like belittled, like put down. No one in their right mind, no one who even cares like an ounce about you would ever do that. And if anyone does, then they shouldn't be in your life anyway. But regardless of what that means, like, frankly, like, just because somebody like me wouldn't know how to respond if you suddenly told me about the dark feelings you might be having and how you've been struggling, I might not know what to say, but I guarantee you, I would want you to feel like you can get help, that there's more to do, and that we'd much rather have you around than not. Like, that's a critical message you need to understand, is that, like, even if we can't find the words or don't know how to express it, or express it poorly, or even like roughly, like, frankly, a lot of times it's just people trying to figure out how to say words that they don't even know how to express. So, whilst it can sound silly coming from somebody sitting cushionily inside a chair recording a video and talking to you in the future, like, you're never going to disappoint us for having feelings like this. You're never going to disappoint anybody because you are a human who has weaknesses. We do too. We all try and hide it, but we're all weak. Frankly, I think it takes a lot of strength to be able to be honest. Strength that Ibuki isn't displaying right now, because I don't think she's ready yet. But she's got to work on that, because it's a strength to be able to admit your faults. It's a strength to admit that you have fallacies. Heck, I'm trying to start seeing counseling because I feel like I have some, like, misthinking, and I want to make sure I'm okay. It's okay to admit that, and it's good to talk about it. It's not a weakness. It's not a... If it's a weakness, it's a weakness that's similar to a weakness of, like, being allergic to peanuts. Does that make you less of a person because you have circumstances that aren't really totally in your control? Like, just like an allergy, like, you can avoid stuff to keep yourself from being sick, but it's not like you could have done anything to avoid the allergy itself. You can't just make dark thoughts go away. You can't just not have them. And just because you have them and others don't seem to doesn't mean that it's not normal. It's completely normal. You're not going to be disappointing people by just being yourself. What's disappointing is when people choose to take things into their own hands and not seek help and end up doing something that leaves us all more broken. But that's your battles. Like, whoever's listening to this, or whether it's you or a friend or family member who's going to be struggling with this decision, many of us are going to have somebody in our lives or ourselves who are going to be facing darkness. And I don't think any of us would ever say we're disappointed if we ever were trusted enough to be told, hey, I'm having really self-destructive thoughts and I'm not sure if I'm okay, if, like, I might not be Like, I don't think I'm okay. Like, we're not going to be disappointed. Far from it. That's one of the greatest strengths you can ever display, is having the bravery to admit that you need help. I don't care what kind of help it is. Being able to admit you need help and, like, accepting that help when it's offered is probably one of the most important skills you can ever learn, ever in life. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't make you less than a woman. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're fragile, a snowflake, or whatever the terms that get thrown around. Like, it's real. It's meaningful and it's important. So it's important to think about.
太陽か。ねえ、いぶきちゃん。
My not feeling good.
強がって見せてる私だって、本当は弱いんだよ。だからこんなことしてるの。みんな、強さの裏側には。だからね、時々目を伏せちゃう。でもね、たくさんの人の温かさに触れたとき、見知らぬ誰かに励みになる言葉を囁かれたとき、いぶきちゃんの太陽にも負けない輝く笑顔を見たとき、こんなにも世界も人も輝いてて美しいんだから、怖くっても勇気を出して目を開けてなきゃっていつも思うの。そうして温かさを心に焼き付けるの。ねえ、どんなことがあっても自分に負けちゃダメ。私はそう思うんだ。自分の弱さとうまく付き合えば、どんな時でもきっとうまくいくって。
I like I was saying, like, it's not like you overcome your weaknesses, it's you come to terms with them. That's right. Exactly. You mustn't lose to yourself. Though it may be something I could have said though it may not be something I could have said myself. Hey Madoka, you understand that, and yet you understand, and yet.
ねえ、だったらどうしてまどかちゃんはそんなところにいるの？まどかちゃん、戻ってきてよ。変なこと考えるのはやめてよ。
That's when Madoka says something surprising.
私の言葉、いぶきちゃんにちゃんと響いたかな。怖くても勇気を出して。ずっと目を開けてるんだよ。まどかちゃん、今なんて。ねえ、いぶきちゃん、いつか言ったことあったよね。初めて出会ったあの白い箱の庭で、いぶきちゃんは誰の前でも心の中では泣きながら笑ってるふりをするのって。あの時言った私の言葉は、あの言葉はいぶきちゃんに伝わったかな。本当に伝わったかな。だったらなんで私に本当のことを伝えてくれなかったの？
Madoka, what are you talking about? I tell you everything. Whenever we're in that hospital courtyard. About school, friends, everything. I tell you what happened that day and what I thought. Because having you listen was fun and made me happy. Because I was happy I could meet and talk with you. I'm not hiding anything. No way. It can't be. She couldn't have noticed. I've never spoken of it. I've never made any indication of it. So she couldn't have. But the things she's been saying, it's been like that since we came to the rooftop. I can't help but feel like she somehow suspects it. But no, there's absolutely no way. Because what she's trying to say is something else entirely. Yes, definitely.
Ibuki?
Kazuya looks at me worried too. Ibuki's really good at self-denial. She can lie to herself. It's probably a survival tactic. But fetch, man. I have to hide it. This is something I can't talk to anyone about. That's what I tell myself. I fool my own heart and speak to Madoka.
本当のことって、まどかちゃん？一体何のことなのか。
My words don't come out smoothly. They're tangled with confusion and guilt.
辛いこと、楽しいこと、そして幸せなこと。なんだって二人で話してきたじゃない。まだこうして出会ってから半年足らずの短い間だけど、それでも私は前からの友達のように何でも話してくれるいぶきちゃんが好きだった。嬉しかったの。話すたびにどんどんお互いの距離が近くなっていく気がして。 いぶきちゃんがこんな私なんかにどんどん心を開いてくれるのが
This game's not good for my
嬉しく
heart,
て仕
man.
方がなかった。毎日毎日いぶきちゃんが病院に来るのをだからこそ何でも話してほしかった。
I have to think of something. I need to remember. What did I hide from Madoka? What couldn't I tell her? Oh yeah. My favorite type of cake. Now come on, girl, think about it. It's your health and the fact that you were like you've had like self-harm thoughts. It isn't shortcake with big strawberries on it. It's cheesecake with cream around the edges. My favorite cat isn't the calico, it's the American shorthair. Hey, that's one I got. I said I don't really play games, but I've actually been really into mobile games recently. Also, I can't think of anything. That actually makes it sound like Ibuki might be a habitual liar, like she just tells little lies all the time. Or she's inventing lies to avoid the real lies she's been covering up, which is actually what I think is more likely. I think she actually, like, she's trying desperately to think of anything that could be a mistake because she has to believe that, like, Madoka is right that she's been hiding stuff, but it's not the stuff that she's really hiding. Nothing comes to mind. It's not those kinds of things. Why? Why? I'm still deceiving myself. I can't hide my weakness. It's not good. Madoka, that's all I've got. Oh man, Ibuki, you really need to talk to somebody about this stuff. You are like splitting yourself into multiple people at this point.
私はまどかちゃんに隠し事なんてしてない。私は今まで通りの私だし、これまで通りにまどかちゃんが大好きだよ。そんな大好きな親友に隠し事なんて。
I can't think of anything. Nothing. The pain in my chest drowns out everything else.
いぶきちゃん、私はそんなとこも含めて、だからこそ、大好きないぶきちゃんだからこそ、私は全てを話したの。心の中にもやもやしてるものを溜め込んだままは嫌だから。
Stop it, Madoka. Don't say such things. Your feelings are gouging out my heart. Is it easier for you to talk about it? Is talking about everything really the right answer? It's not, is it? Broadcasting your own scars, exposing your weak self, and cutting down other people's feelings in the process? That's wrong. That's why, Madoka, I can't tell you. I can't be strong the way you are. That's why I can only deceive my own heart.
もちろん、私だって。そんなの嫌。まどかちゃんは親友だから。大事な友達だから、私はまどかちゃんがだから。
While maintaining my presence of mind as such as possible, I respond, but my face right now is probably twitching horribly. I can't tell if the words coming out of my mouth are scattered, but if I don't think like that, it feels like everything will come crumbling down. Madoka, stop already. Don't torment me anymore. Enough. Don't put my weakness on display.
そう。私たちは親友だよね。いぶきちゃんはきっと周りの人たちを傷つけたくないって。だから言えなかったのかもしれないけれど。ねえ、いぶきちゃん。親友にずっと嘘をつかれてたって気づいてしまったとき、身が引き裂かれそうなぐらい辛くって苦しいよ。私たちの絆、友達同士の絆がどれほど脆いか突きつけられてる気がして。私ね、お父さんに裏切られても友達に裏切られても、本当に大切なものは目に見えないって誰かが言っていたように、二人をつなぐものに凛とした美しい切れるはずのない絆を感じてたんだよ。だからね、私いつでもいぶきちゃんの力になりたかったのに、いぶきちゃんはどうして信じてくれなかったの？私たちの。
My heart falls to pieces. It feels like Madoka has forsaken me. My chest hurts and tightens more than ever before. I was wrong. I called Madoka my best friend while carrying around the most important secret. I built a wall around my heart so she couldn't get in, but Madoka always showed me everything in her heart like it was made of transparent glass. while my own heart was stagnant and murky like the depths of a swamp. I mustn't talk about it. I have to hide it. I ended up interacting with Madoka while being afraid of that one thing. In other words, there was a distance between us from the start. I thought our hearts were getting closer. I even thought they'd become one. But I was the only one who thought that. As Madoka got closer to the darkness in my heart, I skillfully kept that part away from her in our interactions. I always hid it like this, and held her at a safe distance. Can I really call that relationship of being best friends? That's right. The distance never shrank from the start. Rather, right now, we're further apart than before we met. Those words Madoka spoke. When you're in front of people, do you pretend to smile while you're crying on the inside? I haven't grown at all. I was just thinking like that. I was weak. I feel guilty for hurting and betraying Madoka. Madoka definitely. Those kinds of feelings accumulate. To Madoka, I'm kind of dizzy. There's no strength in my body. My heart won't move either. My vision blurs. The tears that fall from my eyes expose the weakness in my heart. That's one Madoka who's in the middle of wobbling vistas wavers. But I immediately realize this isn't because of my tears. Is she actually wavering? I wipe away the tears with my index finger and desperately strain my eyes. No. At this rate, Madoka will. Kazuya. Help, Kazuya. As if responding to my feelings, Kazuya asks Madoka a question.
なあ、お前と伊吹のことは俺にはよくわからないが、お前の今の行動にそれがつながるのか？よく考えてくれ。大体、お前のそれは逃げだろ。すべてを諦めて、自分を追い込んで。でも俺には逃げるなって。そう言っただろ。お前の信念はそんなものだったってのか？俺に、夢に向かった気持ちを取り戻せみたいなこと言っといて。自分を強く見せたふりしやがっ。なんなんだよお前。そんな思わせぶりな期待させないでくれ。
違うよ、和也くん。これは逃げじゃなくて、もう一つの希望。そして、夢に向かう気持ちは、希望の光。それは、私も一緒だよ。
Even if Madoka heard Kazuya's words, she doesn't move an inch. Kazuya glances at me. I'm sorry, Kazuya. My feelings won't reach Madoka anymore. Because I did something horrible to her. I can't even speak to her anymore. I can only pray now. And tears won't stop. In my blurred vision, Madoka wavers again. She slowly raises her arms and spreads them out straight to the sides. Then looks up a little like she's addressing the sky. The air around Madoka becomes tense. I watch without so much as blinking. She looks like she's shining. Is it because of the tears? The scene is as though a single bluebird who's gotten its wings is flying, and becoming one color with the sky. Madoka melts into the light, into the sun. Madoka, wait. Don't leave me alone. Madoka.
やめろ！やめてくれ！お前はこれまで伊吹を支えてくれてたじゃねえか。だから、これからも支えてやってくれよ！伊吹のためにも！本当にお前が伊吹を大事な親友と思っているのなら！
Ooh, that could really strike hard at Ibuki now. Fetch. Christine's gonna blame herself, isn't she? Kazuya raises his voice. I'm scared to hear Madoka's reply. A precious best friend. Does Madoka think of me like that? Even though she knows I deceived her? I hold my breath, stare at Madoka's figure from behind. The time until Madoka opens her mouth to speak feels terrifyingly long.
違うの、和也くん。いつまでも、私なんかに頼ってちゃダメ。聞いて、和也くん。この私の行動、そして決断は、きっと、この戦いを勝ち抜くために、必要不可欠なものになるの。今はわからないだろうけど、これから始まっていく戦いの布石になる。私にはわかる。夢を目指す苦しみ。挫折。自分の実力を突きつけられる現実。君は、夢を叶える一歩手前まで行ったんだよ。そこまで登り詰めるのは、実力が実らない日もあったかもしれない。ライバルたちを蹴落とし、追い抜き、疎ましがられ、たくさんの仲間たちが、君から離れていったと思うよ。夢を目指すことは、何かを犠牲にすることでもあると思うから。でも、どんなに叩きのめされても、諦めず這い上がり、自分だけを信じて突き進んでいった。その情熱があったからこそ、 自分を信じて情熱を貫いたからこそ、君は夢を叶える一歩手前まで行けたんだよ。それはとてもすごいことで、誰にだってできることじゃない。君に、まだこの気持ちが、これから起こる数々の死闘、自分よりもずっとさらに強いノーザリアが襲ってきたとしても、君の武器はどんな能力にも勝る、その素晴らしい心の強さなんだから。ねえ、いぶきちゃんを守って、その手で守り抜いて。
Right. My tears start flowing down again. Why? Madoka, I'm like this. I trampled all over your heart. So why do you talk about me to Kazuya like you're worried about me? You're worried about me without any concern for yourself. Why are you so kind? You need to cherish yourself as well. Who cares what happens to me? But you're worried about Kazuya too. Is this Notharia fight that tough? Is it that important to you? You've shown me your strength again. This is your strength of heart. The strength to set oneself aside to think of others. I don't have it, that strength of heart. I don't have that strength. That's why I'm deceiving myself like this. I'm trying to run away again, but this is the only method I have. In the end, I can only rely on other people. Even if right now I lay bare my weak self against like this, once more, I'll ask for that goddess's power. I'll call her name in my heart. Goddess. For Madoka to know the things I heard from that goddess, does that mean Madoka met her too? Like she's saving me a second time? Maybe she'll save Madoka too. That's right. That goddess has a strange power. But will she hear me? I haven't heard her voice for the past year. But if that's right now, because it's the time like this, it was like that with me too. So if I call out to her, definitely. Anyways, we're always relying on others. That's my weakness. But if I don't do this, this is the only way I can think of. Because I'm weak like this, that's why the goddess saved me. That's definitely it. I yell loud with the voice in my heart. Goddess, can you hear me? Are you listening? Right now my best friend is about to throw herself from the school roof. Please save her somehow. Please use your divine power. She's my important, precious best friend. Please. I don't hear anything. No way. Why, goddess? You saved me. Please, goddess? At this rate, my best friend will... You met Madoka, didn't you? That's why she knows about the Notharia. And the 7 mansions of the Black Tortoise, right? If so, it'd be okay to save her, right? Please? It's fine if this is my last request to you. Please protect Madoka.
見せてほしい。取り戻してほしいの。和也くん、君の心の内にある本物のいぶきちゃんを守れる心の強さを。
What I hear is Madoka's voice. She's asking for something of Kazuya. Her voice is all I can hear. Other than that, I can't hear anything. I hear nothing. Why, goddess? Why? Why only for me? That's when Kazuya turns his back to me and yells. I suddenly turned into Kazuya's direction. His yells like that, some kind of resolve behind it. All the attention I was giving to the goddess is now focused on Kazuya's words.
俺バカだった。間違ってた。自分一人が世界中の不幸を背負ったような顔をして、伊吹に、レイに、ミユに、そして周りの連中にもたくさん迷惑かけて、たくさん傷つけてた。だから一人でも、この俺のことを応援してくれている人間がいるのなら、この俺にまだあの時のような気持ちが残っているのならできないかもしれない。またくじけてしまうかもしれないけど、だけどこれからどんなことがあったとしても、もう俺は後ろを振り返らずに前を向いていたい。
I can hear Kazuya's determination. His yell from the heart. Kazuya. He's laying bare his feelings that he'd hidden up till now. Like something he's been unbound. Madoka's strength and Kazuya's strength, they weigh on my heart. I've been left alone again. When Kazuya came to this resolve, what was I doing? Relying on the goddess. I was just praying. But this is all I can do. The way I am, I can only rely on others. But at this rate, Madoka will... I'm frustrated at my own weakness, making excuses like that again. This weakness hurts Madoka, and keeps Kazuya at a distance.
だからお前も自分に負けずに自分と向き合って頑張るんだよ
Kazuya yells again. His face is her direction and clenches both fists. But his resolve and feelings echo loudly in my chest. Can I step forward with my head held high too? Like Kazuya? Does Madoka desire that too? Kazuya quietly walks forward, as if accepting it. Madoka doesn't move an inch. Kazuya's feelings, they reach Madoka. Thank goodness. Now, finally. I will. No, I too will. Kazuya goes to gently grab Madoka's shoulder like he's relieved. I quickly feel better. We can relax now. Next comes my resolve. If I can convey it to Madoka, Kazuya, and Madoka, just a little is fine. Give me some of that courage. I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and quietly stare at Madoka's figure from behind. Madoka. Find your resolve? It's interesting, because, like, can I be like you? That's not resolve. You're too radiant for me? That's also not resolve. From now on, I'll move forward. That is resolve. From now on, I'll move forward. Madoka and Kazuya, today you two taught me truly important feelings. The conviction not to lose yourself. The strength to overcome your weakness. Your strength rings loudly in my chest. Hey, Madoka. I'll change. I'll show you. I'll say goodbye to the weak person I've become until now and move forward, so that I can catch up to you and Kazuya even a little, one step at a time, with certainty. So I want you to be with me forever. I want you by my side, always watching me get stronger. First as friends, but maybe someday, if I become strong like you, not friend this time, but best friend. I want you to call me that, Madoka. Madoka, When I go to say this, as if matching it, Madoka suddenly opens her mouth to speak.
私、これでやっと安心して飛べる。ねえ、いぶきちゃん。和也くん、私、この狭い鳥かごの中から、この広い広い大空へと、お母さん、やっぱり私、お母さんも、やっぱりお父さんが好きだから、ずっと一緒にいたんだよね。いたかったんだよね。たとえ、どんなに辛いことがあっても、私も同じだよ。ごめんね。お人形さん、こんなことして。ねえ、でも、いいでしょ？ちゃんと約束は成し遂げたんだから。使命は、果たしたんだから。和也くんはちゃんとやっていける。その強い気持ちは、ちゃんと私に伝わったから。星の宿命にだって、きっと立ち向かえる。ねえ、そうでしょ？お人形さん。だって、あの人は、あなたの人生のすべてを救ってくれた。
Huh? Madoka? At that moment, the atmosphere gets tense. It feels like the sounds of the world, the sound of the wind, and even the sound of my heart come to a halt. What I hear amidst it is that goddess's lullaby.
なんて、まどかちゃんから放たれたその調べは、まるで女神様に取り憑かれているかのように。
It is.
やめて、女神様。どうして今、こんな歌をまどかちゃんに歌わせるの？違うよ。私がお願いしたのは、まどかちゃんを助けてほしいってやめてよ、女神様。その歌は、今、歌っちゃダメなんだよ。和也も、この不思議な歌の前に立ち止まってしまっている。和也、その歌を止めて。あとちょっとで、まどかちゃんに手が届くじゃない。言葉が出てこない。この雰囲気に飲まれてしまって、体も、顔もこわばってしまっている。まどかちゃんが、前のめりに傾き始める。ダメ！まどかちゃんが視界から消えていく。戻ってきて。どうして女神様。まどかちゃんが消えていく。私は、まどかちゃんがいなかったら、まどかちゃん、いや。
Thinking sad, man. I hate this picture so freaking much.
あなたは光り輝く太陽のようだった。キラキラして、綺麗で、いつも日陰にいる私には、眩しいくらいに素敵な女の子だった。私は、そんなあなたの日差しに、いつも照らされていたの。ねえ、まどかちゃん、あなたが私に微笑むたびに、それは心の栄養になった。私の心の小さな目はぐんぐん伸びて、そしてね、ある日あなたという太陽に照らされながら、笑顔という大きな花を、まどかちゃん、今、私はあなたという太陽を失った。私の周りの世界は凍りつき、私の心に咲いた笑顔の花も、ねえ、まどかちゃん、私はこれからどうやって笑えばいいのかな。
Gosh darn it. Son of a gun. I don't like it. Alright, well, here we go. Alright, so this one I think is the last one, Kazuya. So we'll probably explore all these side stories for now and then go to the end of Kazuya. But, well, that was terrible. Just terrible. Thank you so much for being here. If you're still here, because this is a freaking long episode about really depressing stuff that we kind of are seeing for the third time, thank you. I'm kind of surprised if you're here the whole time, but I appreciate it. So, yeah, we're gonna help move forward from this. We're gonna start seeing the ripple effects of whatever this was all about. But yeah, we'll have to jump into the next part of the story and see what the heck's gonna happen now. So I need to go and just curl up in a ball, and I don't know if I'm gonna I don't think I'm gonna cry, but I'm definitely gonna want to go, like, I don't know, sleep or something. Just sad, just really sad, but I'll figure it out. But thank you guys so much for being here today. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode. Again, remember, these topics are really heavy, and you should never feel like you're hopeless or that there's no worth in life. Also, it's really important to understand that you or someone close to you very likely wrestles with feelings of ending themselves. You need to make sure to be available. Do your best, but don't also blame yourself or expect that you're supposed to be able to catch people when they fall or to make it so that things are going to be okay. That's too much of a burden to expect on yourself, and seek professional help whenever you can if necessary. There's a lot of great resources out there, some of which are in the description below, for people who are struggling or people who are watching people struggle. There's a great amount of, like, you don't have to feel alone in these fights. You shouldn't, and you won't. Just be brave enough to reach out and say something, do something, and just be aware. Be vigilant and see what's going on around. But thank you to the patrons who helped select this game. I hope you're okay with that. Thank you for all your support and devotion and just willingness to help try and make the channel better. It means a lot to me. And thank you to the viewers. I look forward to reading your comments. I hope that this heavy subject matter is something that can at least be worth talking about. Don't feel like you have to go too personal, of course, but like, if you have any thoughts or feelings based on what you've seen or what I've said, I'd love to know more from your perspectives. A lot of people can teach me because I don't have a lot of experiences compared to others. Like, if we can communicate with each other, we can maybe help support each other in ways we never could find on our own. So I appreciate any comments that you guys give, but most importantly, thank you for spending your time here. Hopefully you find other great stuff. If you're looking for more uplifting stuff, I've got plenty of other series to cover on the channel. But for now, let's wait, and then next week we'll jump into some of these next side stories of the next phase of what's going on, kind of the after effects, the aftershocks of what happened. So I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I can't say it enough, so I'll keep saying it a million times. Thank you. And until next video, watching me, see me next. I'll see you there.